Hungary presents best practice. I thought, wow. My name is Réka Semerkényi. I am Senior Foreign and Security Policy Advisor to the Equilibrium Institute in Hungary. I was a former ambassador of Hungary to the United States. I worked in national security from transatlantic cooperation to energy security and cybersecurity in the last over 2 decades. I think for a long time, cybersecurity was considered as a field on its own, and it was limited to the experts. And I think that has changed tremendously over the last decade. It has become an issue that is relevant to every country, in every sector of government, in every international organization, in practically every international discussion. The most sensitive, the most painful of all of these is fake news and the spread of disinformation, which really is aiming at altering or influencing political opinions, political processes, diplomatic relations. I think that's really a very sensitive issue, and I think that's something that is very important for all of our democratic processes and international discussions. So we have to really be focusing on finding ways to diminish the impact and to make sure that they don't reach the desired by the malign actors effects. Oh, I heard about NewPush through friends, common friends with Balázs and with the team.
Yeah, the story with Réka is an amazing story. It starts with my friend Peter Kraft. He, knowing that I'm in cybersecurity, he tries to introduce me to people who are also interested in cybersecurity and who may help us.
And I was very impressed because I thought, oh my God, if this can be such a successful and such a fascinating new venture, that really shows the talent and the understanding of the importance of this issue. So I thought, wow. And so I was very much looking forward to meeting Balázs personally, and then also to be able to learn more about the work and the possibilities that NewPush offers.
So we're on the sailboat, and Réka is kind of telling her story. And basically, part of her story is she was advisor to the Prime Minister on cybersecurity. In fact, she was tasked by the Prime Minister to create the first cybersecurity task force for Hungary.
That was the moment when we could step forward and propose cooperation without being refused off the start by private actors. And so I was very happy to see that our proposal of drafting the first national cybersecurity strategy for Hungary, and also our proposal to draft the first law on that basis, and the first opportunity to propose a framework of regular cooperation between public and private actors for the common interest of all of these actors and decision makers, was seen as a welcome development. So not only could we draft the first national cybersecurity strategy at the time and then propose it as a law to the parliament, which is then accepted, but we could also set up a structure of cooperation among private and public actors in specific fields.
And that was in 2013. And what was amazing is that in 2013, she created an architecture for cybersecurity that even the DHS only came up with much later. The DHS is a Department of Homeland Security in the US. Not only they came up with it later, they never were able to make it work at the scale that Réka was able to make it work. Now, granted, Hungary is a much smaller country.
I was amazed to see that at one session of about 3-4 hours of discussion, what would happen, what would be the mechanisms that we could be using to defend against a hypothetical cyber attack. We could identify over, 50-some steps that could be done without any financial involvement, just regulatory, political decisions, communications, clearing channels, identifying the links between the necessary actors of important decisions. So I thought it was really a worthwhile experience.
Just intuitively, she created that architecture, which happens to be the same architecture on the technical side. We built a technical architecture of the connective platform, which is the same, but it's the technology that enables the overall architecture to work, which is basically how you make sure that data is shared and data can be compared so people can find the discrepancy and focus on where there are contradictory, conflicting information, so you uncover the gaps, you uncover the blind spot.
The more I learned about it, the more I appreciated it, because the more I could see how much work, how much talent, how much effort, how many ideas are put into the work of New Push, the more I could see that this is something that is really value creating. But this special feature that I particularly appreciate is that it's value creating in multiple ways, not just in the traditional kind of business definition of value creation, but also in a very profoundly human and moral dimension of value creation.
As she was explaining this architecture and this thing that I was trying to convince people that it's the right way. And here is Réka, who actually built it. Like, before I even thought of it, in 2013, I was just starting to learn about identity. I was investigating how Brainwave was doing it. And that was where we were. We were not actually thinking yet of creating the connective platform. That came in 2015 when we started working with medical institutions, etc.
So I'm very happy that we could work together at this conference now in Budapest. And I am very excited to find ways to continue to work together as much as I can to support this work that I see to be profoundly important for our common future. I remember at the time there was a high-level meeting of all the EU countries' cybersecurity representatives, and as I was presenting the Hungarian experience on these cybersecurity strategy and law and the working groups, all of a sudden I see above the head of the commissioner at the time, Hungary presents best practice. I thought, wow, that was already a very important signal that what we were actually trying to accomplish is something that everybody else sees to be important.